How is everybody tonight? Yeah? My name is Martin. I'm single gay man, raising his niece. I like long walks on the beach, tacos. I bartend here at the Raven, and I host In Drag Lipstick Mondays here at the Raven as well. I always knew, obviously, like everybody else, that I was different. I've always felt like women are beautiful, and I can tell you things about them. Angelina Jolie that I think is breathtaking. But it was never a sexual thing for me ever. Even though I did date girls and had sexual relationships, I always knew, though, that it was the boys that I wanted to be with. I didn't come out, though, or deal with it until I was 26. And I am now 39 now. So, but it came out when I was 26. I actually went to school to be a chef and for hotel and restaurant management. And I worked as a chef for a little while, and the money just wasn't enough, but I love this industry, so I stuck in this industry. And I really do hate people, but the transitions just seemed natural enough and worked out well. The money's better. I had to deal with people's BS, but I get to leave it right here and not take it home. I was 29 when I started doing drag. It was 10 years ago, this coming May. So, 2007, May 2007. I hadn't come out to my father yet. And Mary J. Blige had a song called Just Fine. And the message behind that song was a type of empowerment. It just gave me that fuel, gave me life like that. And I had lived here in town for about 2 years. Here in New Hope, and would come here to the host of the drag shows then on Monday nights was Victoria Lace, and the show was called In Your Face with Victoria Lace. And she was just this tiny little black drag queen that just seemed to be so full of everything. And I said I wanted to do drag one time. So I worked with Miss Pumpkin, you know too well, one time that Gay Pride when this place closed for the year, and we went up to the Nevermore. I did the Gay Pride show there. I made my debut, which was supposed to be one time. One time. I can't reiterate that enough. One time. And then here we are, 10 years later. It's tough, because there are days that I go in between loving it all and hating it all. You know what I mean? Because it is work and it is an extra job. And sometimes when you do something that you love for work, you tend to end up hating it. You know what I mean? So it's tough like that. I do love the whole process of transforming from this to Miss Martini. And whether Miss Martini's makeup is on point that night or whether I'm like, with it, I do love that process. I love that becoming somebody different. I love entertaining. I love the stand-up on the microphone and on that stage. But I think what I've grown to love especially is just being somebody who isn't afraid to be themselves and encourages somebody else to be who they are. whether they're ratchet and ghetto or they're prissy and pompous, like pageant style queen, or just ghetto trash. Like, be yourself, and I think that that's probably something I enjoy the most. It's not so much the drag itself, but I think if there's anything that I like the least about it, is that lots of times, like as Miss Martini, I'm not a celebrity like Joan Rivers or Bradley Cooper or anything, but there's a type of celebrityism that I do have. Like, I'm a face and a pillar in this community and here at this bar, and I feel like lots of times with people other than my closer friends, that's all they see is Miss Martini. They don't realize or remember that Martini is a whole bunch of things, and Martini is just this much of that multifaceted stone that makes me, you know what I mean? So I think that would be the least, like, because, you know, as an entertainer, I have to be on point. Whether I'm a bartender or on that stage, I have to be on point. I have to be ready to entertain and do it. Sometimes I have a rough day, you know what I mean? Sometimes I don't feel like it. And people just, well, what's wrong with you? Like, oh, well, Marty's having a bad day. Marty's tired. She's whooped, whatever. So I think that would be it, though. Like, I do Miss Martini because now I can be ratchet and raunchy and obnoxious, and I don't have to have apologies because I'm Miss Martini. Today I'm Marty. I have to be a little softer. First I start with the music, the songs, the girls that are going to be in that show that, you know, I plan that out weeks in advance. Then I have to get the costumes together, the hair together, if I'm going to be switching hair throughout that particular show or not. And then the day of, shave. Everything from the waist up to gluing down the eyebrows, and sometimes we do start off with a glass of vodka, just to help ease it and comfort and slip in, you know? Creating a palette, basically. Like, women look like women, I look like a man, because I'm a man. So I like to make my face a blank palette, so that way there I'm starting over fresh, and all that is just flesh looking color. That's what I'm putting on now, that's what I'm doing here. I like to do my contour, my cheekbones and stuff like that first, and then do my eyes and highlight. That's how I like to work it. Then I'm creating like the contours, accenting and highlighting my the natural normal curves, but creating like a chin so that way there I look thinner and that kind of stuff, like the way the lights on the stage will hit me. I love that people always say, now you know what us women go through. You women know nothing. You don't get it. My original drag name was Martini Matthews. The first person who ever tried to paint my face, we call it painting, or do my makeup, her name was Dana Matthews. Dana Matthews was a good friend of myself and the family, and I begged him to paint me and help me out, and he did. So originally it was Martini Matthews. However, every time one of the MCs, Vera Charles, Vera would be MCing and she would try to introduce me. She said the crowd would go crazy. They would go mad because I was local. And Martini Matthews, he kept by accident, would introduce me as Martini Madness. And that was 9 years ago, and that name is stuck. So Martini Madness, I couldn't go by anything different now. It's Miss Martini Madness, they know me. I started hosting the show here at the Raven, Lipstick Mondays. It'll be 3 years in February. And I will go on to say that I know that I am not the most talented entertainer, that I am not the best lip syncer. Lord knows I'll forget my words, but I make fun of myself. I own it. I don't dance. That's not my style. But there was only ever one other hostess here that lasted that long, and that was Miss Victoria Lace, who lasted between here at the Raven and the Cartwheel when that was around for like 13 years. Nobody else has ever lasted the 3 years straight running like I have. So I'm doing something right. Even if it's making fun of myself, I'm doing it right. Do shows here at the Raven, obviously. In New Hope, I've done shows down at John and Peters. Then I do shows at Taboo. I help do a drag brunch every now and again on a Sunday. Then I do a Thursday night every now and again. Like every 2 or 3 months, I'm down at a Bob and Barbara's, which is in South Philly. They're about the only places. I'm a busy guy, and they keep me busy here, so it's kind of tough to spread me too thin. Jay Fithian was a gentleman who used to visit the landing all the time. He was a local here in this community in New Hope, and Jay and Miss Cordy, and they were really good friends with a lot of us. And Jason had said to me, my first show, when I came off the stage and I walked up and I said, Jay, thank you so much for coming to my show. And he just shook his head, like that stubborn old fart he was, and just shook his head at me and said, we'll never get you out of a fucking dress. So, every time I put on a dress, I cuss him out. Who's ready for the drag show tonight? Well, put your hands together for your hostess this evening. And every other Lipstick Monday, me, Miss Martini Madness!
Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like me to go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, can you hear me? I'm in California dreaming about who we used to be when we were younger and free. I've forgotten how it felt before the world fell at our feet. There's such a difference between us and a million miles. Hello from the other side.
Drag it's a weird community, but it's just like any other community. Like a lot of these girls feel ostracized, they feel set apart and different. And in the drag community, you also have the subcultures of transgender and cross-dresser and whatnot as well. And here at my show, I feel like these girls find a little freedom to be able to be themselves, whether they're transgender drag queen or a cross-dresser. They feel comfort in being themselves here at my show. So they tend to look at me as a role model or a big sister that they look up to, or a mother who takes them under their wing and helps them out, like Mercedes or Honey Bottom, even Kellyanne, you know what I mean? Big sister, mother, friend.
It made you glad, then it made you mad. The best blowjob you have ever had. You'll never forget the things I did to you. I met a man who was 7 feet tall, but his penis was unbelievably small. Don't worry, 3 inches is fine. I lied to you.
community events have I not been involved with? I feel like as an entertainer and as a member of the community, you have to be involved as much as possible from one thing to the next. I don't think they could just be LGBT community related, neither. They need to be community related. But I've done so much here. I help out with our New Hope Celebrates, our gay pride every May. I help MC the parade from over in Lambertville, New Jersey as it crosses the bridge into New Hope. I perform at that block party down there. I help with some guest bartending fundraisers across the street at the Cub Room. Then we do a high heel drag race to help raise money for our local gay pride. We do a Miss Mardi Gras competition here at the Raven. It was started by Miss Pumpkin 10 or 12 years ago, and she passed the torch on to me, and we've been running it since, where we raise money usually for an LGBT youth house. Here, I like to keep it, if I'm doing that type of charity here at the Raven, we try to do an LGBT youth house, and then we try to do New Hope Celebrates or FACT. And I've also helped out across the street at the Firehouse with FACT Bingo, Bucks County chapter.
So I'm gonna bring out the next entertainer, but before I do that, I have one joke that y'all are gonna hate, but I loved it. Davina's gonna fuck me up after this one, bitch, with your problem. So, why did the monkey fall out of the tree? Because it was dead. Isn't that fucking awful?
There was a time when I said I would only do drag one time. There was a time probably about a year ago where I was like, I don't care if I ever do drag again, I'm done. But if I couldn't do drag tomorrow, I honestly think I would want to eat and be at the ocean. I think it would break my heart. I'd have to mentor. But the first things I would do for like 3 years would be sit on the beach and eat. That would be it.
Tonight, because my drag parents are here in this fucking house. Yeah! Put your hands together for this very living! That little bitch, she really has been doing drag for 30-some years. Yeah, 30 years. And where is Eric Lee? He just stepped away, didn't he? But tonight was fun. A lot of fun. So thank you all very much once again. I very much appreciate you.
Well, who cares if you're gay, straight, bisexual, transgender, lesbian, drag? Who cares?